Nerazzurri fans from all over the world, welcome to the Interglobe pre-match of Inter-Empoli. But first, a couple of considerations because I just can't be silent when I see certain things. This morning I opened the Gazzetta dello Sport online, the main Italian sports newspaper, and I read a title about Juventus, who played yesterday and tied 3-3 with Atalanta, and the title was Juventus, the night of anger and pride. Supporters had banners in favor of the team, against the sport institutions. What? Pride? Anger? I mean, anger is the right sentiment that a supporter should feel these days if you're a Juventus supporter, but not anger towards the institutions, anger towards the pigs that manage your favorite team in the world. This is where anger should be directed. And the second word, pride. Pride, I mean, it's not about Juventus fans, maybe it would have happened even with other teams. It's about humans, how terribly ignorant and blindfolded most humans are. The vast majority of humans really is completely stupid. And this episode that happened yesterday just proves it one more time. Even in face of evidence, you have the courage, because you have to be brave, to behave like that. Anyway, stop this conversation and let's jump into, or closer at least, to our Inter-Empoli game. Skriniar is going to be a delicate situation tomorrow because of the fact that basically he's going to PSG, and I just want to spend a few words about this situation as well. For me, it's evident that Inter, the club, made a humongous, catastrophic mistake with Skriniar. Either you sell him for 50 this summer, even if it's not what you want, but at least is something, and you buy Bremer in advance, not letting Juventus buy him, or if you don't want to sell him this summer, you renew the contract this summer, you sit at the table with him. He's a very rational and intelligent person who proved in the past to love Inter, because he even fired his agent because he was creating complications when it was about renewing less time. So you know the player, you know he loves Inter, you know he has a second skin with Inter colors. You have to first of all behave better with him during the summer, not just put him on the market and then take him back from the market when you see that PSG doesn't pay the money. This is a very bad way of using a player psychologically. In fact, he suffered from this and he started the season not in his usual state of shape. So it's a chain of big mistakes that Inter management made, and honestly, now I would sell him now for 20 million instead of waiting for the summer, because this is as disgraceful as what happened to Donnarumma, to Çalhanoğlu, to Kessie. We joked around with Milan and their management for a long time because of these mistakes, and now we fall into one that's the same. So this is really unacceptable. Anyway, let's see how the fans will react, because they might also boo him after this communication. Even though I have to say, if I was Skriniar, I would have done exactly the same. If not, honestly, to go to PSG even this summer and to ask to be sold. Why? Because they pay you a load more money. We're talking about, almost double the salary that Inter offers. Not double, but 50% more. And we're talking about the chance to play with Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi in Paris. So Paris is a better city than Milan. PSG, in terms of starting lineup, is far better team than Inter. They pay me 50% more. I mean, it's a no-brainer, honestly. It's a no-brainer. So an applause to Skriniar for what he has done and for the confidence and the loyalty he put into the relationship with Inter. Blame on Inter management for the way that they handled everything. This is my position on this. Anyway, let's see what will happen. What we have to learn, though, and that's why the title is Napoli Docet, Napoli teaches us, is that after a fantastic game like the one we had with Napoli, we have to now create consistency. After Napoli, we had this horrible 2-2 in Monza. After this incredible 3-0 win with Milan, we need to bring home a victory with Empoli. So we have to avoid the mistakes we made after that game with Napoli. I hope that Inzaghi will use exactly that game, because it happened 15 days ago, as an example of how to not behave after a great victory. Talking about Inzaghi, I want to highlight also a piece of information, because these days they say on TVs and on the media, if Inzaghi doesn't win Coppa Italia, it's a failure, the season of Inter is a failure and he needs to leave, Inzaghi out. Up till now, if we compare the percentage of victories obtained by Inzaghi versus Conte, Mourinho and Mancini, up till now, Inzaghi has obtained 65.3% of victories, of wins. Basically, it's 2 wins out of 3 games. 65.3. Conte had an average of 62.3, Mourinho 62, Mancini 58% of victories, of wins. So Inzaghi is performing better than the coaches that we are celebrating historically like gods. He has a better percentage of victories. So let's just be careful and look at the facts, not at the opinions, because opinions are really dangerous, especially as we know, because of the level of intelligence of most people on this planet. Getting closer to Inter-Empoli, I also remember, I can't forget this night in which we qualified for the Champions League for the first time after 10 years, thanks to Spalletti and thanks to 2 men, D'Ambrosio, who made this incredible save that was on social media of Inter yesterday, and I didn't remember how incredible that save was. In the very last minutes, it would have tied the game and we would have actually lost the chance to qualify for Champions League in favor of Milan. Can you imagine? So that D'Ambrosio save is worth 5 years of contract for D'Ambrosio, because it is something exceptional. And the decisive goal was marked by Nainggolan. Can you imagine? The player that we all liked, but also cursed for the attitude that he had when he was playing in Inter. Anyway, that was a magic night that started this cycle basically that we're going through, with constant Champions League and the trophies coming year after year. Regarding the match that's going on tonight in San Siro, regarding Empoli has 22 points, which is as of today 1 point less than Juventus. Anyway, he's not in a very dangerous position in the table. They don't risk to go to Serie B, and they don't risk to qualify for UEFA Cup or Nations League or anything like that. So Confederation Cup. So it's a position in which they can play relaxed somehow. And in fact, in the last 5 games, they lost only 1 game. They tied 2 and they won 2, which, if you think about it, is a great path that they were able to maintain just recently. So it's a team that's in shape. That's why we're going to have to be very careful. They actually scored in the whole of Serie A so far 16 goals and they suffered 22. We scored 38 and conceded 24. Can you imagine? We conceded more goals than Empoli's defense. This also talks to the fact that no one is indispensable. Even Skriniar can be substituted. With the best or one of the best defenders around, we have suffered so many goals. Plus, if I look at Skriniar, honestly, he's not a 100% fully rounded player. He's fantastic when it comes to defending, but when it comes to constructing the game, or even to shoot on goal, or even to score with headers, he's not up there with the top in Europe. So there are a lot of areas in his professional sphere that can be criticized, even though he's one of the best. This is just to say, I don't want to criticize him because he's leaving. I'm just saying that it's possible to find substitutes that are up to those levels, or that will rise to those levels after playing with Inter for a while. So I'm sad, but I think we can come back. Anyway, so they suffered many goals, but we suffered even more. They play with the 4-3-1-2, and this is the sort of lineup that creates difficulties when Inter has to build a game with its three defenders, because they have also three people forward that can tackle our defenders and create problems by marking them man on man. So as usual, duels will be important, and it will be important also to refine the strategy about the positions of players when it comes to build the plays. I am confident tonight, because I think that this time, unlike with Napoli, we will take advantage of the enthusiasm of the victory with Milan, and that's why I'm in a good mood. And that's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please punch the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'd love to understand how to make these videos better for you. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and as always, Forza Magica Inter. Ciao!